Hey, 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 Facebook community. How is everybody on this beautiful, fine Saturday morning? I hope you're all going well. Kind of looks a little bit glitchy on my end, so I'm hoping we're going to be okay. Yeah, it's looking it's a little bit glitchy. But anyway, hopefully we'll maintain connectivity and we'll be all set. I might just, actually, hang on one sec. I'll just go on with my phone. Sometimes that makes all the difference out here at HD land, Humpty-Doo and all. We're just a little bit in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes the connectivity is a bit dodgy. But anyway, welcome to today's live stream. I really appreciate you guys joining me today, and yeah, I really hope you've all had a great week. And I'm super excited. I feel today should come with a bit of a warning label because I just came up with it this morning where I was just writing some content for one of my paid courses, and it just came to me that this is something that everybody should have, that this is something further to what I spoke about last weekend around the upper limit blocks. And it just came to me that this is something that everybody should have for free. And so that's part of today's live stream. At the end of today's live stream, I'll be telling you how you can get your hands on this hot little number. And it's super important from what I can see that this is something that everybody should have. How we actually limit ourselves without even realising it, and we place caps and block our happiness basically. And that with some really simple strategies and a really beautiful questioning sequence, how you can actually really start to make a difference in your own life and open up to happiness and ever increasing good in your life. And so that's the title of today's live stream, how we can actually start to do that. And so really importantly, I guess we start to question and see that these things are actually really possible, because up until we do that, I guess we're living within our limitations and we're buying into our limitations, really, for want of a better term. But we see our limitations as reality and we identify with our stories. And so until we actually start to question, then we are limited, and we are limiting ourselves, not on purpose, but we are. And so really excited about today's free gift. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. But today I'd like to talk a little bit about the blog posts, and today excitedly about yesterday's blog post particularly, because I guess finishing the week, it always sort of feels like it's a combination of all of the blog posts all together. But that idea of that future visioning, and it's so important that we don't even realise oftentimes that we actually are always making meaning. And so I talk about it like human beings being kind of like meaning-making machines, and we go through life making up stories about things and what they mean and the significance of these things for ourselves, but the significance of these things for our future. And so we don't even realise that we're actually walking through life creating our future through our future visioning. So what we expect of our future, what we expect of ourselves, ultimately then creates our reality, because we're actually not taking action in the now. We're feeling really like crap a lot of the time, and then not doing what matters in order to be able to create a life that is one that we want to actually be living. And again, we don't do this on purpose, but we do this because of our beliefs. But in this scenario, we do this because of our expectations. So if you have no expectation that you will succeed, why would you even try? And if you have no expectation that your future will be bright, then why would we act in a way that might create that in our future? And if we kind of live in fear, expecting that bad things are always just on the horizon, then that's obviously going to affect our state in the now. And so really importantly then, we're actually starting to draw out, what is it that we're expecting? What is it that we're really seeing from our future, such that it's affecting in our state now? So, do you fall into states of helplessness and hopelessness? Or do you fall into states of anxiety and fear and despair around, the future being something that's scary? And so really, if we start to question, what is it that we're visioning for our future, then we can start to make a difference in the now. And so those questions that were put forward in Friday's blog about, you know, what are you visioning for your future, are really, really important ones to start to question, because this is where we can actually start to see, well, maybe some of those things that I'm expecting then impact my decision making now, and impact my behaviour now, and impact my mood now, such that it really shuts down options. It really shuts down our decision making now, really. And so, yeah, importantly, and I guess further to all of what I've written over the last, well, probably since we started Under the Bodhi Tree, what I'd like to put out there is that really that you're starting to try these questions on. So what I really hope for Under the Bodhi Tree in my Facebook community, my Instagram community, and on my website, that this is not a passive community, that really what I'm trying to create and what I am creating here is a group of people who are interested in making a difference in their own life. So this is not a passive process, that I'm not here giving you all of this information so that you can read it and just then kind of do nothing with it. Like, this isn't like watching the TV, that this is like trying it on for yourself and feeling the difference, because I can guarantee that if you start to question your model of the world, things will change for you. But if you read the question and don't actually try it on for yourself, nothing will change. So if you're reading it like you would read a novel, or if you're passively sitting there watching it like the TV, then really nothing is going to change for you. The change is in the trying it on, the change is within the contemplating, and the change is in the responses. So this is where I'm really encouraging you guys to be responding. And if you're not responding on the page, that's fair enough. But really make sure that you are contemplating the questions and writing them out, journal them out, talk to them, you know, with your loved ones or whatever it is. But make sure that you actually are trying these questions on and that you're responding. So what I'm planning here and what I'm hoping with Under the Bodhi Tree is that this is a group of movers and shakers, that, you know, we're really starting to try these on, and people who are genuinely committed to making a difference in their own life, that people are genuinely committed to actually really starting to feel ever-increasing happiness in their own life, and that they're doing that for themselves, basically. So I'm providing the information. It's up to you to take it on board and to do something with it. And so I ask you, you know, what is it that you're trying on? What is it that you're doing differently as a result of your own questioning? And so I'd like to just put that out there, that, again, you know, this is something that, yep, you're on the Bodhi Tree bus and that's fabulous. But my encouragement to you is yeah, you don't need to be on my bus. You know, I'm driving my bus. How about you start driving your own bus? And we do that by asking the questions. We do that by taking ownership of responding to the questions and really starting to get involved. And that is an encouragement. It's a recommendation. And really it's nearly a have to. I don't like have to's, but it's nearly a have to if you want to make a change in your own life. And it's really something that, until you do, that you will remain stuck in you know, the life that you have now. And if the life that you have now is one that you embrace and you love, and you wake up every morning, like I say, good morning. If you wake up and you know, you've got the zest for life, then, well, maybe come and tell me how you're doing it, because that's wonderful, and go you. But if there is something that you want to change, and there is something that you find is lacking for yourself, so is it relationships or money or health or weight or body image, or, you know, whatever it is, then, you know, I guess if there are those points of frustration in your life and you do want to make a change, then the change really does start with starting to change your thinking and to question your reality and how you do things, basically. And so, again, within all the blog posts, there are those questions, and if you're reading them, great. What I'd encourage you to do is to start to try those questions on. And if you can, you know, to start responding to them in any way that you can. Again, so in your own journal, and if you feel free to be commenting and questioning on the Facebook page, then do that too, because that's a form of engagement, and it's, you know, it's wonderful to see, and I appreciate whenever anybody does it. And so, yeah, importantly, driving your own bus and really starting to make a difference in your own life. And that's really what we're about here under the Bodhi Tree, is giving everybody the skills to be able to transform their own life. And that's my gift to you guys. And I really do hope that you'll pick it up and see it as the opportunity that it is. Again, this is something that I charge for every day of the week, or at least I did when I worked full time. But this is something that, that people pay me for. And this is something that, I give freely away to you guys, because it's something that I believe passionately about, that people should have access to this information, that if you want to make a difference in your own life, then really you should be able to do that. So, yeah, that's my little pep talk for today. I feel a little bit ranty. There's another thing I just want to share with you guys, because I'm super excited about it. And it's kind of like it's still in the pipeline, but it's coming. And I'm super excited. It's now been confirmed what it's going to look like. And so I just thought I just can't contain it any longer. Some of you may have noticed that a little while back we had our little thumbnail and we had it changed, and so it's currently the one that you'll see at the top of the page. And there was a little bit of a process behind why that happened and why that changed, but basically what it comes down to is that the artist who did the original artwork is now actually going to be doing an artwork just for us, just for Under the Bodhi Tree. And she's just shown me the thumbnail sketch, and I'm just so excited about what it looks like, because it's basically the essence of Under the Bodhi Tree, and it's going to be just for us. And we're super excited. So it's now in the pipeline and it's coming. So very, very soon we're going to have our own little Under the Bodhi Tree, well, not so little, Under the Bodhi Tree. I guess it's a branding essentially, but our own picture, and it'll be the essence of Under the Bodhi Tree, and that's super exciting. And I guess just a little further to that, just as a little bit of, what is it? It's not quite, I guess to demonstrate that, just I guess the connectivity and just how exciting the universe and life can be at times. That this is someone that I found randomly on the internet, and I found her beautiful artworks and fell in love with them. And when I was describing the what I wanted out of the artwork, I said, okay, well, my daughter's name is Sunny, and so I want it to include the sun, and my son is Bodhi, and he's the inspiration behind Under the Bodhi Tree. And so she's come back to me and said, well, my son is called Sunny, and my latest book is called Bodhi Bear. And so I just couldn't believe it. So here's this woman that I found randomly, just fallen in love with her artwork. And here she is with the child, the same name, and a book titled The Name of My Other Child. And it's really funny because my term of endearment for Sunny is Sunny Bear, and her book is Bodhi Bear. And so I guess make whatever you like of it. But I got super excited and just said, wow, I guess, there is this sense that, we are connected, and that, there is this, I guess, this connectivity, and that when we start to tap into it and we start to live in flow, that we start to see these signs of, yes, I'm on the right track. Yes, this is working. This is easy. This is how it's meant to be. And if it isn't like that, we can start to use that, I guess, as information that maybe things need to change. And that doesn't have to be an overwhelming, catastrophic thing. It could be a bit of an exciting thing as we start to see these kind of bumps along the road as signs that we need to get back on track. And then the flip side of that is when things start to work and there are these sort of really weird, kind of strange connections around how could that be that, I've just managed to find this woman to do this artwork, and there's just these beautiful connections there. Like, how could that be? And actually, I guess what I choose to make of that is completely up to me. But what I choose to make of that is I'm on the right track, and that this is in ease and flow, and this is, I guess I can use that as a sign and a signal that is the case. And so that's what I choose to make of it, because I find that's an empowering framework. I guess, a lot of the stuff that I'll talk about is, again, it's not about being right or wrong, or, is this a fact? Part of it is this, we can question our facts, but sometimes it comes down to what is the most helpful framework that you can work from, that you can draw from, and to be able to then use that framework because it works. So for me to say, yeah, I'm going to use that as a sign that I'm on the right track, and to say, well, yeah, this is how it's meant to be, this is perfect, that I can feel then much more positive, I can feel more and more aligned with my purpose and my passion, and then I can see that these are signs along the way. And the flip side of that is when these things are not happening, that I can see that as or maybe there's some refinement that needs to be happening. Maybe I need to adjust course. And so then it doesn't have to be this deeply personal, catastrophic, tragedy or whatever, that it can just be a sign that, okay, things need to change, or that it needs a bit of refining and, tweaking essentially. And so, I guess we can start to look at what we're getting as feedback. And I guess that is the further to the criticism post that we talked about this week, is that, is this feedback, or, do we actually do we take it on board and then kind of use it to beat ourselves with and the like. And so, we can actually start to depersonalize some of the not so good stuff and say, well, actually, is this feedback? Can I learn something from this such that I can keep moving forward with what matters? Sorry, my notifications are still on. So, we can actually start to use it as feedback and use that then to be ever guiding and ever refining our process. But typically what we will do is that it'll hit some sort of story, something that we've learned about ourselves, and we can actually start to really spiral and can be really deeply affected by that. And I know I've been there, that, these things are just sort of like that iron filings to a magnet, where it's just like kind of really spirals you downwards. But I guess I've come to think about it in a bit of a different way these days. And particularly, I guess, as I'm moving out into the world and sharing my message with people, then some people will connect with it, and I'm really optimistic and positive that I know that this message will reach the right people. On the flip side of that, there are going to be people who don't resonate with the message or think it's silly, or why would I want to know about psychology? Why would I want to improve my life? Why would I want to do that? I'm happy where I am. Okay, well, that's great for you. But there are going to be people like that, and I potentially could, if I let it really affect me, and I could let it, distract me from my mission and my purpose. But I guess a way that I've come to look at it is that actually I am like a magnet, and the magnet draws in, things of certain qualities, but it also repels certain things of other qualities. And that's okay, because that's the essence of a magnet, but it draws things in really powerfully, but it also repels these just as powerfully. But I'm choosing, I guess, to see that I'm drawing in the people who resonate with my message, and the rest of them will be repelled, and that's fine too. I really do hope that they'll then find, the message that suits them, because I guess I just am so passionate and believe so much in personal growth about, I guess, what you can make of your life when you're living in flow, and when you're choosing to be a lifelong learner about yourself, that, there's always more to know. There's always the capacity to lower that waterline on the iceberg, that really importantly that we're able to do that. And when we do that, our life can get better and better. And so that's an invitation to you. And I guess hopefully, you're on the magnet side that's drawn to the message, and that you really, want to make a difference in your own life. And, that's what I would hope. And so I guess that's a powerful framework, and I encourage you, if that's something that's helpful for you, to try on that idea of the magnet. And that can apply to people, and that can apply to experience, that we're drawing in, experiences and people that are of a kind, and of a kind that we want. And then we're choosing then, or other people are choosing, and the experiences are choosing to be kind of pushed out the other side of the magnet. And that's okay too. That's life. It can be a very empowering framework to operate from, just to go, hey, this is how it's meant to be. This is how it's meant to be. That, you can't walk through your life, or you can, but it's not going to work for you probably, expecting to please everybody. You can't walk through life expecting that everybody's going to like you or love you, or really want to listen to you or want to support you. That's not necessarily going to be the case, but it doesn't have to be for you to live a happy life. It really doesn't. Sorry, something weird's going on with my computer. Hopefully I don't lose you. It doesn't have to be like that. We can actually, choose to take some ownership, I guess, over the path that we're going in life, and saying, that we can be the captains of our ship. We can be steering in the direction that we want. And then when we do hit rough waters, and we're sort of shot out in a different direction, we can choose to recalibrate and come back to where it is that we and the direction that we want to be going in. And so again, just a helpful and empowering framework to live your life by all comes down to choice. And I know that can be a really hard concept because, if you live in states of depression and anxiety, that it doesn't often feel like we've got a choice, and it can feel like these things are happening to you. And a lot of times when it's, that's kind of deeply entrenched, it can certainly feel that way. And so what I encourage you to do, if that's where you're at, is just to look at what's in front of you. What's that first step that you could be taking? And it doesn't have to be huge, but what is that first step? It could even just be an internal shift to say, I'm just going to be a little bit kinder to myself. I'm going to choose to make that decision to notice that internal critic when it pops in and just to say no thanks. So it might feel like, again, that we don't have a lot of choice, but there's always something that we can choose in the moment to be able to make a positive change. And it doesn't have to be huge, but starting to make those decisions for yourself now will make a huge difference in the long run, that we're starting to make small decisions, positive decisions to say, what's the best thing that I can reach for right now. And, even if it's that first rung on the ladder, that's absolutely fine, so long as there's actually some movement and a decision to say, this is what I'm choosing for myself and I choose it now. And so, again, that can be choosing those empowering frameworks, right or wrong, whatever. I'm sure people could argue against some of the things that I've said around the magnet or, whatever, but it's fine. But it's a frame of reference that works for me and it's helpful. And so therefore I kind of choose to operate from those frameworks because I choose to be happy, basically. And, I think I've written there this week, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? I just see a question there. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Marie. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think it's relevant to me and to everybody. So thank you. Yeah. So, again, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And so, again, we can really start to choose in alignment with our happiness and say, yep, this is something that I really, I want for myself. And it can feel really hard to make those choices from moment to moment. But so long as we're reaching for whatever's available to us now, and we do that, and then we do that the next day and the next day and the next day, then your life will absolutely change. And so I've still got goosebumps about that because obviously that's the truth. And so, and I guess I'm optimistic about that for myself and for everybody who's here under the Bodhi tree with us, that if you adopt the things that we talk about in the blog post, then, definitely things will change. If you're trying on the questions that I put out there, if you're responding and engaging with them, then that's just truly wonderful. So anyway, that's my download for today, but I do want to talk to you about my free gift. And so, Marie, you've just definitely popped on it in the right time because now's the time I want to talk about my free gift. And I'm super, super excited because last time, like I said to you, that this is something that I was writing for one of my paid courses. And then I just got the download that this is to be given away for free. And so for anybody who's watching, and so this will be open till Sunday night. So we're going to leave it open for about 24 hours or probably a little bit over. For anybody who watches the live stream, what I'm asking for people to do is to share along the live stream. So if you can share it and then you can just pop in the comment section shared, that would be really great. And when you've popped in shared, you can either request that you can just PM me, or if you're happy just to put in some information there for me to be able to, I'll probably just PM you actually, the link if that's okay. And then I'll share you the link with the upper limit blocks process. And so basically the upper limit blocks process, it's a bit of a mouthful actually, I need to probably title that differently. It goes through how we're actually limiting ourselves. And so if we really look at it, where we are all limiting ourselves in one way or another. And we just kind of live with problems without really exploring them too deeply. And so we just live with them and we go along with them and we don't really ever think to question them because they've just been around so long. It's kind of a part of who we are and who we see ourselves to be. And so this process gives you a strategy to actually start to draw that out and say, well, actually, this is a problem And, you know, I basically want a solution to it. I want to work through it. And so this process does two things. It helps us to start to look outside of the problem. And if we look at, you know, our problem focus really is very narrow. And this is actually a physiological thing that happens when the fight-flight is activated. So basically, when we have a problem, we feel stressed and we become tunnel visioned, and that's a fact. And so we are not able to creatively problem solve, basically. And so this problem is an encouragement and gives you the process to be able to then start to look outside of the problem and to start to think creatively about things that have limited you, likely to have limited you, maybe sometimes forever, for your whole life. And so it helps you to start to think outside of the problem. But then what I really love, and this is, again, where I got so excited about last week's live stream, and I was like, oh, God, I just wish I had said more. This is the more, because the upper limit block stuff is just so exciting to me, and it's my new thing, and this is why I'm giving it away, because I'm just like, oh, everybody should know this stuff. And so it goes through the problem and defining the problem, looking outside of the problem, but it also then comes to that process of working through that upper limit block to say, actually, what's there and what's below the problem, that, you know, the good that might be there. That this problem, when we're so focused on the problem, we kind of miss all this other good stuff that's there. And that's a travesty, you know, that's the good stuff. That's where we really want to be. And we get so caught up in identifying with the problems, not on purpose ever, but certainly that's what we're doing. And we get caught up in that, and then we miss all the good stuff. And so this is what this process is all about. It's the lock-in key. It really gives you that chance to be able to get to the good stuff, basically. So really looking outside the problem and then looking below the problem nearly to be able to get all the good stuff. So that's my free gift to you today, and I'm super excited, and I think just everybody should have it. And so what I'm asking again is for you guys to, you know, if this is something that you want, and why would you not, because it's totally fabulous, that if you want it, then share along the live stream and then just put in the comments section that you've shared it. So just comment shared, and then the free gift will be yours, and I'll PM the link to you, basically. And so hopefully if you're using Messenger, if you're not using Messenger, then I guess you'll need to give me another way to contact you. That'll be fine too. But yep, right in the comment section, shared, and then I'll PM you the link to this fabulous process. So yeah, so if there's no questions for today, then that's all I have. I'll just actually check my notes. Yeah, I think I've shared everything that I wanted to today. And so, yeah, so that's it for today. And if you just sort of jumped in towards the end there, then go back and have a listen, rewatch unless you were just jumping in for the free gift, and that's fine too, because it's fabulous and it'll change your life, no doubt. And so otherwise go back and have a listen to the whole live stream. And yeah, share along the live stream, and the free gift will be yours. And again, that closes as of Sunday night. So yeah, get on it. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.